Okay, look, if you've ever wondered what it's like to live on an island, but, one with Target, Pilates moms, and multi-million dollar views, Daniel Island just might be your kind of vibe. It's like Charleston and a country club had a very organized, very expensive baby. And today I'm talking about the big question. Is Daniel Island worth the price? Stick around because I'm diving deep into the location, lifestyle, schools, food, and what it really costs to live in Charleston's most master planned paradise. Daniel Island, where golf carts outnumber teenagers and the grass is suspiciously perfect, and the neighborhood dog probably has a better skincare routine than you do. But here's the real question. Is living on Daniel Island actually worth the price tag? Is it paradise or just HOA purgatory with a side of avocado toast? Who doesn't love a side of avocado toast, right? All right, section number 1, location and overview. Daniel Island is located in Berkeley County, northeast of downtown Charleston. So if you look on my board over here, Daniel Island is this great little spot in between the Cooper River and the Wando River. And so if you notice, you'll see that it almost kind of looks like almost a head of an elephant a little bit. But you have a lot of really great spot up here, connects to Clements Ferry Road in 526. So that's how you would get in and out of Daniel Island. Now, it is considered a part of the city of Charleston. So your address may not be Daniel Island, South Carolina. It actually might be Charleston, South Carolina. But I gotta tell you, Daniel Island feels like its own self-contained world, especially when you're on the island and you're just driving around some of these communities. You get a feel of like, hey, they thought about this. They put a lot of thinking into this. Everything from lake systems to parks to walkways, even the way the homes sit back off the roads a little bit. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. And so if you're someone that's like, hey, I want that charm of Charleston, but I also want that family life. I want to be able to live in a neighborhood where there's gonna be kids and other parents, just not this home is next to another home that's owned by a major corporation and no one stays there 11 months out of the year, right? So again, it's a different vibe when you're living in Daniel Island, not to mention people who live there definitely have a little bit of a different lifestyle, and we'll talk about that a little later on. So now, as I mentioned, Daniel Island is surrounded by the Cooper and Wando rivers, meaning if you're someone who likes to boat, fish, whatever it is, it doesn't get better than this. I mean, you're tucked in a little bit, so storm-wise, yeah, you're gonna have to have storm shutters and things like that. You're gonna get some wind, some rain, but I'll tell you what, people do relatively pretty good in Daniel Island. I'm not reading about homes being completely just wiped off the map in Daniel Island. It's not the case. And to their point, they also build them for the weather that they see on the island. So it was kind of part of the master plan community. And that's the other thing. This area, Daniel Island, was developed as a master plan community beginning in the 1990s. So a lot of these homes have some trust me, they built some really beautiful homes in the late 80s, early 90s, all the way up to the 2000s. And it's not like they aren't still building great homes, because a lot of these builders in Daniel Island were custom home builders, building these really great, unique looking homes with fantastic architecture. That's probably one of the things that I'd say really draws my eye to Daniel Island is the difference in homes, the unique looking, the very rustic style, or maybe the Spain look. There's different architectural styles used all throughout Daniel Island. And I got to tell you, that's one of the things that really draws my eye in when I'm looking in Daniel Island for clients who are looking to relocate here that say, hey, Ryan, we want something a little different. Well, the other thing to know about Daniel Island is that it's known for pristine neighborhoods, commercial space. That's one of the things when you go to Daniel Island, you notice how clean everything is. Parks, the waterfront access. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. People always ask me, is it the 90210 of South Carolina, Ryan? I don't know. It's 29492. Doesn't sound as good, but hey, what are you gonna do? The other thing I really like about Daniel Island's location are the bridges that connect to it, that connect to Mount Pleasant, North Charleston, and downtown Charleston. So when you think about location, if you're gonna be somebody that's gonna work in downtown, maybe you're gonna work in Mount Pleasant, being able to get to those areas quickly is what most people are looking for. Most people don't want a long commute. So if you live in Daniel Island, and let's say you work in Mount Pleasant, or even you work in North Charleston, or you need to get to downtown Charleston, you're talking 10 to 15 minutes tops. So again, proximity, Daniel Island is right there in everything. And I think that's why a lot of people choose to live in Daniel Island, is for that reason specifically. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments for the location. I think personally, you can't get a better location in Charleston than Daniel Island. Let me know what your thoughts are. All right, moving on. Section 2, cost of living and housing. Let's talk about it. All right, so jumping right in, median home price was at 1.5, now is at 1.3 million. Townhomes, so if you're looking at townhomes in Daniel Island, look at somewhere about 700 as the starting price. Now, I walked a couple of townhomes in Daniel Island this year with a client who is looking to relocate there. She has a job in Mount Pleasant, so she was kind of like, hey, I think these are really nice. We checked them out, and you're not getting a whole lot for 700,000. I'm going to be completely honest with you. They're usually dated. They usually require some updating, and depending on the location, you might not have a whole lot of parking options. There's just a lot of downsides. So for what she was looking at, 850 was actually a more realistic number to get her into something that she kind of felt like, hey, this is really nice. This is a great townhome. I feel comfortable here. Like, I'm going to have a parking space. I'm going to have a garage. So again, just factor those numbers in, between 7 and 850 for a really good townhome. Now, if you're somebody that's looking for an entry-level single family, I have seen homes in Daniel Island between 900 to 1.1 million. Or if you're someone that's like, hey, I'm okay living a little bit down the street from Daniel Island, you have new construction neighborhoods right off Clements Ferry Road that you'll be able to buy there for around 900 to 1.1 million and get a brand new construction home. So again, it just depends. Do you want to live right in Daniel Island? And if that's the case, entry level, single family, you're looking between 9 to 1.1. But again, if you're somebody that's like, hey, we want new construction, we want something, we're okay being a little outside Daniel Island on Clements Ferry, then 900 to 1.1 is going to get you a really nice house. I mean, beautiful home. So let's talk about luxury estates, because some of you are a little bit more affluent and you've got the money to spend, and hey, maybe you're a TikToker with, $3 million a year in money coming in. It doesn't really matter. Charleston, South Carolina is a great area for everybody. And I got to tell you, I've actually seen a lot of people who are relocating here and a lot of influencers. So, if that's you, or maybe you're just somebody who's like, hey, we want to live somewhere nice. We don't want to be in California. We're gonna move out there and own a luxury estate out there. You can certainly do that. Now, the prices for luxury estates in Daniel Island are going to be between $2 million and $7 million plus. That's on average, guys. So houses here in Daniel Island are a lot more than other areas. Again, Isle of Palms, Sullivan's Island, those are other areas as well that are also going to have the luxury real estate pricing that even creep up over 7 million. So again, keep all that in mind. But if you're looking for luxury estates in Daniel Island, budget somewhere between 2 to 7 million. Now let's talk about HOA fees, because every neighborhood some have HOA fees, some do not. Most of Daniel Island is going to have an HOA fees. HOAs may vary by neighborhood, and the average HOA can be somewhere between $900 to $3,000 a year. And that just depends on what neighborhood you're looking at. Now, let's talk about property taxes. Berkeley County tends to be the lower tax county in the Tri-County. And so generally speaking, it's lower than Charleston County, which is amazing. And some of these homes might be somewhere between $4,000 to $5,000 to maybe $6,000, $7,000, just depending on the appraised value of the home. That's relatively still less expensive than the national averages. Now let's talk about country club memberships, because honestly, if you're moving to Daniel Island and you don't join a country club, you're gonna be the odd man out. I believe that. So these are optional, but let's talk about it. They kind of come with a status. So initiation fees, plan somewhere around $85,000 plus your monthly dues, plus a $1,000, you may have a regime fee. You may have a monthly restaurant fee. So some of these country clubs have restaurants, bars. You may have to spend a certain amount at the restaurant a month on top of your monthly dues and your initiation fee. So yes, it is expensive for some of these country clubs, but again, they come with the lifestyle, the luxuries packed into it, the spas. I mean, if you're somebody who's got the money and this is where you want to be, Daniel Island checks the boxes for that high-end lifestyle. Now, I mentioned high-end lifestyle, but with that also comes higher utilities, higher maintenance costs, and higher insurance. So plan for that. If you're somebody who's looking at some of my other videos and you're seeing Mount Pleasant and some of these other areas that I'm talking about, the utilities actually might be more expensive in Daniel Island. Well, in fact, they are more expensive in Daniel Island. So is things like maintenance and insurance costs. So again, factor all that into your decision making of where you want to be from a budget. I work with my lenders here, my luxury lenders, who specifically I have these conversations with. I'm like, listen, what do these folks need to know about relocating here? But more importantly, the costs, utilities, maintenance, insurance, HOA, country club fees. Like, what is all that going to look like? And so my lenders that I work with personally here locally help my clients break all that down, especially if you're going to be doing a jumbo loan or maybe you're going to be doing 2 different types of mortgages. It really depends on your scenario. All right, moving on, section 3, schools and education, because that's a big one here, schools and education. So let's talk about public schools in Daniel Island. You have, again, your zone, Berkeley County, so you're gonna have the Berkeley County schools at your fingertips, but also you're gonna have Daniel Island School. They have a K through 8th. This is highly rated. I've actually had a lot of people reach out through my YouTube channel and say, Ryan, we know we want to send our kids to Daniel Island School. Like that's where we want to go. And then you also have the Philip Simmons High School. So Daniel Island is zoned for the brand new Philip Simmons High School. I say brand new, it's newer. It's an A-rated school, and it's only about a 15 to 20 minute commute from the island. So again, there are other private school options nearby, but it's something I like to mention to people who do consider public schools. Again, public schools aren't a problem, especially if they align with your values and what you're looking for your kids, but more importantly for your family. Now, if you're someone that's just like, nope, we do private schools, Ryan, you have private school options nearby. Bishop England High School, which is Catholic, grades 9 to 12, that's on the island. And then you have Porter God, downtown Charleston, that's the elite prep school. And then the other thing about Daniel Island is that you're gonna have a very strong parent involvement in sports programs. So I talk to a lot of people who are relocating here because they wanna get their kids involved in the sports programs in and around Charleston, Daniel Island, and for no matter than the parents want to be involved and play a strong role in that. So I get a lot of folks who plan this relocation with the idea that, hey, I got to get my kids in the sports program and I want to be involved. I want to be a part of that. And you can do that. And that's something that you can definitely do not only on the public school side, but also the private. Now, one of the things I will talk about here, and I think this is a big thing to talk about because many of you reach out and are always like, what are the safest neighborhoods? Well, I put an emphasis on safety, academics, and extracurriculars with the schools, especially with the police presence. I mean, Berkeley County, it is probably one of the only sheriff's offices and counties that I have personally seen. Now, again, I can't speak on everywhere, but I can tell you that Berkeley County has such a visual deterrence, a visual presence within all the communities that you relatively do have that emphasis on safety. You feel safe. And then even when you go to these schools, the locks on the doors, the systems to get in, the buzzing in, I mean, there is so much security now. You feel safe sending your kids to these places. So definitely, if you're somebody that's looking, do your due diligence. Make appointments, go to the schools, check the things out. But also understand, keep your eyes open and see how well things are organized and how safe it does feel. Now moving on, section 4 of Daniel Island, lifestyle and community vibes. So the one thing you really want to wrap your head around when you're moving to Daniel Island is that it's very walkable and it's a golf cart friendly community. I was walking near the country club, and so I expected to see some golf carts, but I tell you what, I was seeing people drive down streets with golf carts. People were waving at other people with golf carts. Heck, there was a guy doing work on a fence and he was using a golf cart, and not a truck, a golf cart. So, I mean, people definitely live that golf cart lifestyle on the island. Now, the other thing to be aware of is that Daniel Island has a ton of waterfront trails, community docks, and boat access. I mean, when you think about the overall area of Daniel Island and you look, there's so many places to access water in and around, you know, and that's the other thing, like Daniel Island Treehouse. So this is a really cool thing. I'm gonna go off topic for a second, but this is really cool. If you go to Daniel Island, you got to check out this treehouse. It's really sweet. It's one of the few places that's just like a free place to go to. It's public. You can go there. You can check it out. It's a really beautiful oak tree, and it overlooks the water. It's got some history to it, but again, it's something right on the island that I say, you know, you got to go check out. And they have tons of parks, and we'll get into that. I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. But again, boat launches, things like that. You have tons and tons of locations where you can access the water. Dog park, I mean, the list goes on. So when we talk about waterfront trails, community docks, boat access, the oak tree, you know, the oak tree house, the waterfront Daniel Island Park, the trails, all that. That's what you get when you buy into the lifestyle of Daniel Island. And biking is huge here. I mean, miles and miles of paved trails. So if you're a biker, forget Somerville. Daniel Island has got it on. I mean, they got it locked down. So definitely check out that area. Now, there are a ton of community events year round, everything from concerts, farmers markets, wine and food events. There are just an art festival. I mean, Daniel Island is like the small Charleston. They do everything that Charleston does, food truck rodeos, you name it, but it's all right there on the island, so you never really have to leave. And so I think for a lot of people who are looking for that island lifestyle and are like, hey, it's great that we can just hop over there on a bridge, but we don't need to. We've got it all right here. And that too, you have the Charleston Battery soccer games. I mean, at Credit One Stadium. Credit One Stadium is incredible because it's right by the highway there. You're not too far away from everything. But what I really like about Credit One Stadium is they have concerts there. They just had Jelly Roll there. Kid Rock was there a few months ago. They bring in all different kinds of artists. You have tennis matches there. You know, just so many things go on in and around Credit One Stadium, events, comedy shows. The list just goes on. I can keep naming them all day, but again, this is why a lot of people choose to live in Daniel Island. You're right there with all of this. So now let's talk a little bit about those folks that I mentioned. Tennis, and yes, pickleball clubs are huge in Daniel Island. In fact, they have an area where it's just nothing but pickleball. They have one spot, it's all pickleball. And you can do a little tennis as well. And some of the neighborhoods are now set up for tennis and pickleball courts. So again, if you're someone that's on the fence, maybe you do both, you've got both options. Other thing you should know about Daniel Island is that it's super family friendly, but also full of high net worth professionals and retirees. So yes, very family friendly, but yes, a lot of people here are high net worth earners, professionals. And yeah, you do get the occasional retirees as well. Some folks that are just living off of, you know, the interest that they make with their money sitting in their checking account. This is an area where I think it does call to a certain caliber of people. Meaning, if you're somebody who's very career focused, maybe you're very family oriented, maybe you're a celebrity, this is an area where people are not going to be in your face all about your business. This is going to be an area where everybody's just kind of minds their own, like, hey, Joe, that's Joe. He used to own, Reebok back in the day. Like, that's the kind of lifestyle that pulls in the Daniel Island clientele. Now, I'm not saying that's everyone. I'm saying is there's a lot of high net worth individuals, professionals, and folks who are just looking to hang out and relax for the rest of their life. They've done their work. They've done their job. Now it's time to just chill out and hang by the water and by the beach. So again, that's who's living, that's who's moving to Daniel Island. Now, everything feels a little curated. I'm gonna be honest. This is something that, when I walk through Daniel Island, I'm like, this feels like a movie set. That house over there, I'm pretty sure they shot a movie over there at one point in time. That's just kind of how Daniel Island feels. And you might be somebody that's like, I love that. And then you might be somebody that's like, no, I hate that. That sounds awful. Everything from landscaping to porch swings. I mean, the list doesn't end. If I had to describe it to someone, urban suburbia meets resort town. And they just crammed it all together. That's Daniel Island. All right, but you might be like, Ryan, that's all great. That information's fine. What about restaurants, coffee, and nightlife, Ryan? I want to know about the food. I want to know about the drinks. I want to know about the dancing. All right, so the first restaurant I will make mention of is the King's Tide. This is a very upscale waterfront dining experience. More seafood focused, but delicious. Sermet's Courtyard, that's more of a Mediterranean American fusion. So if you're somebody that likes a little bit of European feel with a little bit of American, definitely check out Sermet's Courtyard. Now, Laura, which is a very nice Italian fine dining place. If you go there, go check it out. Laura is awesome. And they actually just opened up a Laura's in Somerville. So fun fact. Then you have the Honeycomb Cafe, which is gonna be your breakfast, your brunch, like all of it. And it's all so good. You gotta check it out. And then Dockery's in Daniel Island. It's a brewery. They have live music, so you can go there on an afternoon, listen to some artists play music. It's really great. And they have a very modern Southern fare of different foods and drinks and just all of it. It's kind of the cool hip spot to go. You also have Blondie's Bagels and Cafe. I said that correctly, Blondie's Bagels and Cafe. It's just a local coffee and breakfast spot. Go check it out. It's pretty cool atmosphere. And then Wasabi. So if you're someone that's like, Ryan, I'm a sushi and Asian bistro kind of person. I want my Asian and I want my sushi. Well, that's where you go, Wasabi. All right, and then also if you're a Mexican fan, they have Viva Tacos and Tequila. That's also a very casual restaurant. They have a patio there, so you can go and check it out. Get your margaritas, they're delicious. And then you gotta check out Bin 526 on Daniel Island. It's a very boutique wine in very small plates, kind of minimalist eating. That's what I like to call it when they bring over just like a couple of little things. It's not a lot, it costs twice of what it should, but it's fine. Bin 526. Now, if you're gonna be somebody that's gonna be traveling off the island pretty frequently, some spots that I'll mention that are worth mentioning that I always tell everybody about is Mount Pleasant Shem Creek for nightlife. If you're somebody, even for food, like afternoon, you wanna go there, chill, hang out, have a couple of margaritas at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, great spot. Very, very fun, great atmosphere, great views. And then I would also check out Park Circle. That's near Hanahan, North Charleston area. About a 15-minute drive from downtown Daniel Island. Park Circle is great for foodies, brewery people, art scene. I'm originally from Buffalo, so it has a very Allentown vibe. If you know what I'm talking about, if you're from Buffalo and you're like, I know what Allentown is. Allentown, Elmwood Village, that's what Park Circle reminds me of. A lot of local restaurants, food places, and some great places to just go do shopping. So worth checking out. And then you also, of course, have downtown Charleston. That's going to be about a 20 to 25 minute drive for you. Downtown Charleston has your top tier dining. So if you're someone that's living on the island, 20 to 25 minutes, you're right there. Now let's talk about the next thing that everybody asks about. Well, Ryan, the shopping, the gyms, all the services, give it to me. Well, Publix is at the heart of Daniel Island. So literally Publix is what fuels the food scene in Daniel Island. Publix is what feeds everybody in Daniel Island. They also have a boutique fitness bar Pilates area, and Orange Theory is also in Daniel Island. Now, Daniel Island also has a family dentistry. They have some vet clinics, salons. I mean, the list keeps going on. Dry cleaners. They have everything you'll need. Daniel Island Golf Club, or the Daniel Island Club, which is your golf, tennis, fine dining. Gotta check that out. And then you're near Mount Pleasant Town Center. So if you want that big box retail, you're only about 15 to 20 minutes from that. So again, that's off the island. That's Mount Pleasant Town Center. But if you're someone that's like, well, Ryan, where are all the big box stores on the island? Well, guess what? I got bad news for you. They designed the island intentionally to not hold big box stores. So that's, again, one of the appeals to Daniel Island, is that they're all about keeping it that small town community vibe without big box stores coming in and ruining the local infrastructure. All right, Ryan, that's all great. You've kind of sold us on Daniel Island. I won't lie. Now let's talk about recreation and outdoors. Now, I mentioned this earlier and told you I was going to talk about this. So as I mentioned, Daniel Island has some very iconic parks, one being Smythe Park, which has the very iconic lake and walking trails. Etowah Park is another one. That's the sports fields and events that you'll see throughout the year. It's a very big park. It's open, a lot of great areas to go check out. And then you have Governor's Park, which also includes the dog park, playground, and basketball courts and different things like that. Now, water access. So there are a plethora of public boat ramps nearby. So if you're somebody that likes to do kayaking, paddle boarding, canoeing, if you're someone that likes to do paddle boating, I mean, the possibilities are endless when you live near the water. So the public boat ramp is very much nearby. Oh, and I can't forget fishing. I mean, let's be honest, if you're somebody who likes to fish, what better place could you move to than Daniel Island? Now let's talk a little bit about the local yacht club and private docks. So in some select communities, you will have your own private docks and yacht club. So you can pull your boat up, park it there, maybe an additional fee, but again, that's all dependent on what neighborhood you move into. One of the other great things that people love about Daniel Island is the vast amount of golf. Daniel Island Club has 2 private courses, Beersford Creek and Ralston Creek. And both of those are private. So if you're looking to join, it's gonna cost you some coin. See what I did there? Now, most of you are probably at this point going, all right, I'm sold, but what's the commute like? What is the proximity to things like? If I have to get off the island, maybe I gotta go to the airport, Ryan. What does that look like? So your proximity to places like downtown Charleston, you're looking anywhere between 15 to 25 minutes, depending on traffic. If you're gonna go to Charleston International Airport, plan about 15 minutes. And then if you're someone that's going to Mount Pleasant, it's only about a 10 to 15 minute drive to Mount Pleasant. That's gonna get you to places like Mount Pleasant Town Center. And you also have very easy access to I-526. Now, the one thing I will mention is rush hour can back up the I-526 due to just the massive amount of people who are leaving Mount Pleasant and crossing over that Daniel Island connector. And then you also have a lot of people who are going to Mount Pleasant. It just gets backed up all at that same time, so you can expect some delays. Rush hour can back up due to limited bridge access. And honestly, it's not a great spot if you need to frequent West Ashley or James Island. So yeah, Daniel Island puts you out a little bit where if you are somebody who is looking to make constant commutes to West Ashley or James Island, it's not going to be the best location for you, full transparency. So Ryan, who lives in Daniel Island? Well, you have a lot of executives, you have entrepreneurs, and you have some very well-off retirees. Now, that being said, you still also have families with school-aged kids. There's a lot of remote workers these days. So a lot of those remote workers kind of move to this area looking for more premium lifestyle without having to pay, California prices, New York City prices, Miami prices, Texas prices. So many of those people who were living kind of in those areas were like, hey, we want lower taxes. We want to get to a place that's going to make more sense for our family. And Daniel Island gives you that premium lifestyle. Now, there are local celebrities and high-profile residents, but they're quietly tucked away. You probably won't notice them. So it's upscale, clean, and very HOA policed. And if that's for you, then go ahead and click this video right here. You're gonna wanna see more.